What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Lockpicking Central. Today we are doing, well, probably our last video for this year. I apologize, I have been going through some recovery. I did fall down the stairs if you haven't watched my previous video on what happened. Basically, I just fell down some stairs, hurt my back and my neck, but I'm all better. Stop that. I'm all better. We're good to go. And Santa's coming. That's right. It is Christmas time. I thought this was kind of cool. It's like a little Christmas mailbox. Yeah, Santa is coming. So today we're going to be going over this clear plastic lock. Does anybody know what this is? You put a comment down below. This is something that I have been trying to do for quite some time. And it's just taken me a while to learn it, and then I got hurt. So, yeah, stuff happens. But this is a disc detainer lock. So you need a special tool to actually pick this lock. Now, I thought it'd be nice to show you guys a clear practice lock so you can kind of understand what's going on here. And it might be kind of hard to see, so I'll probably end up putting some pictures, even some animations if I can find it, on how these locks work. But let's see. You can see here that all of the, they call them discs. So you got disc, spacer, so on and so forth, all the way through. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8 discs in here. So all of them are to one side. That's basically if they're all fully rotated to one side. That's how most locks are at neutral. So you put your key in there. Basically the key, there we go. Put the key in there, and basically the key, when it turns, it is going to have all of the discs in the right direction. So you can see now, that's probably the best view. We have the first 2 are all the way over. The third one's kind of in the middle. Fourth one's a little bit farther than that. Fifth one is all the way down. 6th and 7th kind of in the middle. And the 8th one is all the way down. So that's kind of how it works. Instead of using a pin tumbler where you're pushing up the pins, this is using discs to turn to a certain direction, and it unlocks the lock. So now this lock is open. Now let's show you what you need. Sparrows has provided me with this. Not really. I actually ended up buying it. This is the same pick that Lockpicking Lawyer and Bosnian Bill made. I'm not really sure. They collaborated. I'm not sure if they made it or they just like designed it and somebody else made it. And then so many people were asking about it that they had Sparrow's lockpicks actually make one. So it's pretty cool. So basically you got a little handle so you can hold it while you're trying to turn. We're going to tension off of one disc 1 usually, because that's as far as this little piece can go in there. Tension off of one, and then this guy goes out. You can see it's like a little piece of metal with I call it a helicopter blade. It's kind of like the flat piece of metal that allows you to actually move those discs. So you do have a guide on here. I have found that not all locks follow this guide. Some of them are on the lines itself. Some of them are in between in the spaces, but it's a kind of a general idea. So for this particular lock, I have picked it a couple times. I am still learning, so it does take me a little bit of time, so bear with me. But I basically have this all the way out, turn all the discs so they're all facing to one direction, push this all the way in, so this is all the way in the back. Use this to tension off of one, so I go boop, and then I'll start slowly climbing back and turning each individual one until it feels set. Then we'll set one, and boom, turn, and we're good to go. So that's the basic premise. It can be actually quite difficult to do in practice. Definitely getting a clear practice lock so you can actually see what you're doing is kind of a must for this, because it is something that is not going to see in every day. These are definitely, well, this particular one is not what I would consider high security, but I feel like this is probably a lot higher security than a pin tumbler lock, because you can't just go in here with a rake or a single pin pick. Maybe you possibly could with a single pin pick and turn each individual one, but this is a specialty tool. Like, you pretty much have to have this in order to open this. So the average burglar, I guess, criminal, it's not going to have this in their wheelhouse. It's not going to have this in their toolkit. So I think it's a good bet. Now this thing is just garbage. It's a plastic practice lock. It's see-through, so honestly you could probably go in here with a single pin pick and just turn each individual one. But the fact that they have to be set to a particular set, if you can't turn all of them as far right as you can, it's not going to do anything. So the premise is, I'll put it up on the screen here now. So basically, we're going to have a cover plate, like a spacer, a disc, a spacer, a disc, and so on and so forth. So they're going to have true gates and false gates. The true gate is usually the one that has the most free play, like it feels like it's actually like able to move around, and then the rest of them are really tight, or they might feel like it has a very little movement. That's going to be your false gate. So with this tool, you can actually feel it with a single pin pick. I'm not sure that you could, but let's go ahead and see if we can pick it. Let me see how long this guy is. We're at 6 minutes. I think we should be around 10 when we're all said and done. Okay, let me bring you guys a little bit closer, actually. So let me pause the video here and bring you guys closer. Okay, and we're back. So I just got a little bit better close up here for you, and I'm not using the GoPro. So I'm just gonna go give you a little bit close look at this again. This is a little bit better camera, so you can see what I was talking about here. So you can see that these first two here, let me use this guy, so it'll probably be better. You can see that this guy and these two are all the way over to the far right. You can see that this third guy here is in the middle. This fourth guy is almost all the way over, but you could consider it kind of in the middle. The fifth is all the way to the right. The sixth is somewhere in the middle. The seventh is actually almost all the way over to the left side, and the eighth pin is all the way over to the far right. So you could see, yeah, with just a pick, like a flat pick like this, you could theoretically do it. It's a lot harder because you're gonna have a tensioning tool to tension off this first one, and then you're gonna have a pick to go in there, and most people aren't gonna have something like this in their wheelhouse, in their toolkit. So let's quickly show you this guy again, a little bit better close up here. So this comes out, goes in there, you're tensioning off the first, and then you're just turning this until you feel a loose spot, and then you pull back, go to the next one, loose spot, pull back, go to the next one, and you keep going that back and back and back until you reach the end. And then you can either, since we know that the second one is basically a zero cut because it's all the way over, we can tension off that second one and then set the first. But since the first two on this one is a zero cut, it's all the way over, we don't have to do that. Like I said, I'll bring up some pictures and maybe some diagrams here. So what I like to do is to have this guy all the way fully extended, go all the way to the back of this, and then tension off that first one, and slowly work my way through each individual one. So the hardest thing for me was knowing where this was. Is it face up like this? Is it turned sideways like that? It was very hard for me to figure out where it was. So I just got to keep track of this little dot here, this little line. Let me see, come on, focus. There we go, this little line right here. So once I know where that's at, I know if it's face up or not, because this line is basically dead on, is face up. So if I know if I'm like this, I can't see the line, it turns sideways. So when you come to the next one, you want it to be face up, you go back and go on from there. Now these lines on here, sometimes they do correlate to the discs in there, sometimes they don't, sometimes they're in the space. Every lock is different, so make sure you get some practice in here, and a clear practice lock like this is a very good way to understand what's going on when you're doing this. All right, so let's shove this guy in there. Turn this guy, so no, this is top up. Shove it all the way to the back. I feel like it's just easier for me if this is all the way to the back. Okay, now that that's in there, we are going to tension off of 1. Now, it's kind of hard for you to see, but you can see I'm moving 2 of them. I don't want that, so I've gone too far. So you need to go mount just a little bit. Still tensioning off 2, come out just a little more. And now I just got 1. You can see that just there's that 1 right there. You see that moving? Okay. So now there's not going to be much for you to see until I get the pins over to this side. So right now it's blank. Just that 1 is down there. So we're starting at the back. Oh, there it is. So I need this actually to be off to the side a little bit because this is straight up, but this turned. So I need this to be off to the side. So we're going to come back a little bit until I'm grabbing 1, or else 8 technically. So let me see where I'm grabbing here. It's kind of hard to tell at first where you're at. So this thing has a little hole in the bottom here. This thing has a little hole in the bottom here, so you can actually kind of tell where your thing is rotated. You can see it. I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah, you can see it. So I know that that's up, so I need to go flat so I can't see it and come back enough to reach that number 8 disc. And I'm going to turn here so I could see this side to see if I'm grabbing 8 or 7. Now, you won't be able to see this in a lock. So there we go. We can just grab number 8. So I know that one already is all the way down, but you can feel like it's tight, 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 tight. And then like right about here, it's kind of loose. So you can see I'm easily moving that. That is going to be your true gate. It's very loose. So when you're turning it, you'll know. It's like tight, 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 loose. And then sometimes, this one I don't think that has any false gates, but sometimes it'll be tight, 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 loose, but it's only like a little bit of loose, like just tiny bit. You're like, okay, I gotta keep going. Tight, 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 really loose, where you're like, okay, it's got a lot of movement. That's how you'll know if it's a true gate or not. Okay, so now we turn back, pull this back some, and we'll go back to this side. Okay, so there we go. There is number 7. So that was like, actually 7 was pretty close to the other side. So that's where we're going to leave that. Come back and do 6. 6 was in the middle, somewhere in there, but I can feel it's loose. So you can see it's like really easily moving. So now let's go to 5, which I know was all the way down. Oh, I lost it. There we go. Oh, no, went past it. It can be hard because they're very tiny discs. They're very tiny discs, and it can definitely be harder than you think. Trust me. I've been playing with these for a little bit, and it's definitely okay. So we picked up that one again. So we're at 7. Come back a little bit. That's 6. Come back a little bit. Where's 5? Why is 5 so being so difficult? There we go. That's 5. And then 4. Feel 4. You can feel them. Like there's like little hard stops. So 4 was somewhere in the middle. It's actually very loose in the middle on 4. And then, wow, that one's really tight at the end there. Very loose. Okay, so now we just gotta set this guy. That's set, very loose. And then tension off of 1 and turn the last one here. And then we're open. And then just twist out this thing. And there you go. There's my little walkthrough for you guys. It's a very interesting lock. I will say it's going to take a person like me, which is just, in my opinion, an average lock picker, a long time to do it, and you probably get caught. Somebody like Lockpicking Lawyer, he seems to do it pretty quickly, but is definitely still longer than raking something open with a snake rake or triple peak rake, or even single pin picking. This is definitely going to be longer. A little cheap block like this, honestly, I could probably just stick a screwdriver in there and break it. So, but an average lock with this, I think it's going to be pretty good. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you leave a like, because it's been a while since I've been on here. Definitely need some of your guys' support to keep on going, and I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day, and have a good holiday. Bye!